Welcome back to Figure Depot. Today we're taking a look at the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Spiderman. This is, of course, the knockoff version. A friend of mine, as an experiment, picked it up for us, Bilal. Glad Scientist 86 over on Instagram, and he kind of wanted to see how it compared. He has the actual one, which I didn't borrow to make a comparison, which might have been a smart idea, but oh well. I'll just compare him to some Marvel Legends figures and stuff. But yeah, packaging's really cool. Looks nice. It has all the branding and stuff, but I think the only branding it doesn't have is the Marvel Comics logo. That's on the legit one. So anyway, let's get him open, see what this guy's about. Here's the little insert box art. Looks pretty cool. So first we'll get a look at the accessories, everyone's favorite part. You get this little display stand that comes in 3 pieces. It's not unlike a Mafex display stand. The joints are a little loose in a couple places. So this ports on to here. And then this goes into the base, the fatter one. So it's got a skinny tip and a fat tip. So there's your base. You do get this other extension, which is just a 90-degree angle that does not bend at all. You also get this magnetized little port here that goes on it. So I'm wondering if there's a magnet in the figure. Not sure. It's staying on there, and it kind of rotates. Interesting. All right, then you get this pointy thing. I don't know what this is. It might be for like popping out his little eyeballs, because he has alternate eyes. So maybe that's what that's for. We'll see if we need it to get him out. We do get these spider webs, which different from the legitimate one. They have sort of a bluish hue to them, and this thing's really tied up here. They have sort of a bluish hue to them, which looks nice, you know, if you like that particular styling. It's more comic-y than real world, I guess. You would expect them to not have the blue hue, but have more like a black wash probably, or, you know, like a gray wash. These have almost a teal, baby blue, sky blue sort of wash on them. But the webbing detail looks really good. Pretty cool. You get a couple of these long, you know, straightish ones. Then you get the little short ones for when he's just shooting them out. You get a couple extra little pegs here. We get our thwipping hands, which the sculpt on these is really nice. So nice work on the sculpt. It's even got a wash over it to accent the line work. So you get a left and right one of those. You get hands that I guess hold the web shooter fluid line. It's got a peg there at the top. We get a left and right of those. Then we get like a gripping hand. It's almost like a trigger finger hand, but Spider-Man don't use no gun, so I don't know. Maybe he's rolling dice in a back alley, gambling with some homeless people or something. Not sure. And so you get a left and right one of those. Then we get our different shaped eyeballs. So we get a left and right, more squared off one. We get left and right squinty one. The paintwork on these is pretty clean. It's not bad. Then we get like a really squinty one. And then we get the ones on the figure. So we'll look at the figure now. So the figure itself, it's interesting. You have all these, you know, weird joints, which from what I understand is pretty consistent with this, you know, with Revoltech's design. You can manipulate them around, and you gotta pose it to kind of hide the disjointedness. And the joints are ratcheted. There was some question as to whether they would just move freely or be ratcheted like the legitimate one. And they are ratcheted, so you can hear them clicking in there, even in the knees. So they will hold their position. I think maybe these hip joints are frozen because he's in a real odd posture. Ahem. So I'm going to go put some heat on him. One thing I will notice right out the gate, they didn't paint that ball. So that should be blue, but it's not. He has a peg in his back, which you can put the figure stand on there. Let's test my magnet theory. Yeah, there's nothing magnetic on here that I can tell, so I don't know what that's for. Maybe it's not magnet, maybe it's just a steel disc for some reason. But yeah, I'm gonna put some heat on him here in a sec, but first we'll look at the other eyes. And I do have a paint little blemish there, but that's nothing I can't clean up with some black paint. So otherwise, the rest of the eyes in the set came out really, really nice. As far as, you know, they're nice and clean and everything, so not bad there. On the paint on the body, I will say it's a fine line between sloppy and maybe a stylistic choice of being super weathered. So you kind of make your own call there. We have some spray over here from the blue to the red. So the paint is okay. It's not stellar. Now, in terms of the actual color of the paint, of course, you know the Revoltech one is super, super bright blue, which is real nice. This is a metallic blue, but it's like a dark, you know, rich, dark navy almost. Which I tend to prefer my Spider-Man figures, classic Spidey, with a more brilliant, more brighter blue. But it looks good on this figure. So if, you know, some people prefer the darker blue, some people like the lighter. It's just a preference, personal preference there. Very subjective, of course, but it's nice. It's well done. I like that blue a lot, you know, in terms of, you know, on its own. It's just not my number one choice for Spider-Man. But yeah, like, it still looks good. So, and again, on the back, kind of up at the top, we have more, you know, fine line between splotchy and maybe the look they were going for with a weathered look. So I'll let y'all be the judge on that. You do see here where they weathered it, they didn't go back and clean that part very well like they did up here. So looks like all the line work was applied with that technique to rub the black on, get it in the grooves, and then rub it back off. Oh, wackily wabbit. So yeah, I'm gonna go put some heat on these hip joints and see if I can get them to flex here in a second. But other than that, we've got really nice range there. His toes bend up and down, as well as his ankles. They're on ball joints, of course. Then we get boot cut swivels. Yeah, these are like swiveling around this way, but these two joints are frozen to the lower torso, and I'm not sure. So, like I said, gotta go figure that out. We have this floating belt piece here. So, then this rotates around. The upper torso to the rib cage does not move much. And again, I don't know if that's because it's frozen or because if it's not supposed to. It's got a little tiny bit of bend to it, but it's not twisting at all like the lower torso at the waist. We'd have double ball pegs from the shoulder to the, well, from the collarbone to the deltoid. So, and then you get, you know, 360 range out of that. So interesting design choice there. We get elbows go into there, and those will rotate 360. We do get hands on a ball peg. So the other hands we have, besides the ones we looked at, are these little wall crawling hands. And then we saw the eyes already. They do pop out very easily, so you might want to just be careful that you don't drop them if you're outside with the figure. Doing figure photography outdoors, seems like they might be a little easy to fall out. And yeah, so in terms of articulation, we also have his neck will rock up and down a little bit, so he can look down if he's standing over you. It will go up very far, so that's very good. We got a little floating piece here to conceal some of that joint work there. This little cap in the back just kind of floats around. So I like that a lot. Amazing how the application of heat can unlock so many mysteries. So, as I suspected, these joints actually rotate. They're on a ball, so they go in and out, they go up and down, and then these rotate here. So now we have a much more neutral stance. The way they had him packaged, they were turned down like this, and then his legs were rotated down. So that's why it looked so weird. So turn them back out. I went the wrong way. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. Okay, yeah. So there we go. So yeah, that looks a lot more relaxed and neutral and like it should look. So it also got some heat on the neck joint, freed it up a little bit more. And then this arm was frozen, so I got it moving. So yeah, not bad. Now that it's kind of warmed up and everything, none of the joints are frozen, it makes a lot more sense. I was having trouble getting him to stand, which, so yeah, this thing's a lot of fun now. Really cool poses you can get him in. Reminds me of Todd McFarlane a little bit, for some reason. In terms of the design, I mean, you got elements from several different artists, but very cool. Once you kind of get him in the position you want, you can then hide the weird joints. I mean, they're going to be visible to some extent, but the poses that he can make are very cool. We can do our classic hanging upside down. Looks really good. So yeah, definitely pleased with the figure. The quality is not, you know, I don't feel like it's gonna fall apart. It feels solid, even though it's a knockoff. I think it's a really well done knockoff. So yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So here's a look at him on the flight stand, which is very loose. You will definitely have to tighten it. It just dumps over. Got a web shooter on his whipping hand. And then we've got him holding a web shooter that he's already shot and is swinging on the other hand. And one thing I will note about the articulation with the figure is that you don't get, like, he's hunched over forward the whole time. There's not a really good look for him extending his back backwards. He's a hunchback Spider-Man. but it's still fine. I still think it's a decent figure. I mean, and for the price, like if you can't swing Revoltech prices, then definitely you'll be happy with this as an alternative, I think. And for 20 bucks or whatever it was, it's definitely a good option. I think the only glaring QC issue that I have is these squinty eyes. This, this one on this side just doesn't stay. It falls out very easily. Well, I say that, and now it's staying in. It was falling right back out. So some of the eyes are a little loose, fitting up in there. So just one thing to look out for. Alright, so in terms of size comparison, we have the Pizza Spidey and the new Retro Wave Spidey. And he's essentially very close in height. The only difference is the torso sizing. His chest cavity is about the same size as Pizza Spidey's, but his abdomen is very, very small. And again, it's that stylized design that they've gone with that's kind of brought that particular aspect out of it. Here he is next to A-Force She-Hulk and the whatever they're calling this She-Hulk. It's the newest incarnation of She-Hulk. And you can see he scales very well with them. He should be significantly smaller because She-Hulk should be massive. And I think they scale very well with each other. Here he is next to Doc Ock and the Eddie Brock style Venom on the Monster Venom Buck. And here he is next to Warpath and the brown suit Wolverine. And here he is next to the Hulk from the Wolverine and Hulk First Appearance 2-pack. Those two look really great together. And here he is with Miles and Gwen from Spider-Verse. And we'll just get Peter B up in there too. He's considerably taller. But he doesn't look like he is because he's in the background. And I've got a low angle on the camera. But he's probably a good ½ inch taller. Alright, well that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you enjoyed this look at this particular figure. It's a very cool figure. You can get him in a lot of really cool dynamic poses. The joints are a little awkward, I guess, in appearance, but certainly have a high degree of function. So if that's your thing, it doesn't bother you, then it's probably a great figure. If you like this style figure, if you like the Revoltech figures, then and you're on a budget right now, I think this is a good option. So let me know what you guys think. Have you guys checked this thing out yet? Leave a comment below. And also let me know which version of Spider-Man is your favorite in action figure form, and of course the comic and movie forms as well. Thank you. See you next time.